Welcome to The Power and the Pain, where your past isn't your prison.
It's the fuel for your purpose.
I'm Greg Pease, combat veteran, NLP trainer, and your guide to turn trauma into triumph.
And I'm Catherine, truth teller, mirror holder, and voice for the breakthrough hiding in your breakdown.
This is The Power and the Pain. Let's go. All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Power and the Pain. Today, we're going to discuss a pretty cool topic, finding our passion, and then also we're going to talk about creating alignment for financial abundance. So a lot of people, like we've all heard, find your passion, right? Or live in your dream, like find what you like to do. You'll never work a day in your life. And I too can relate to a time where it was like, I don't know what my passion is. So here's what I've discovered along the way. So like a week or two ago, we were talking about Claire Graves. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to tie back into that a little bit. So Claire Graves was suggesting that he referred to it in colors, so green, or the sixth level of ascension or awareness, if we will, that is the first time in life we have the luxury of self-actualization. Now, when I use the term self-actualization, let's break that down a little bit. I use that as a generic term or as a broad stroke to cover everyone doing their thing. When I say self-actualization, we all, unless we are given money, we all begin this journey exchanging our time for money. So we have to be cognizant of where we put our time because we need money. We need that energy to continue to exchange to stay afloat. So if we are wise, then eventually we will get to a place where we have enough money where we have created time and financial freedom. If we're wise, that's the goal. And so if we ask anyone that's earlier in their journey, why are you doing this? They'll say, I want to create time and financial freedom. And I remember when I discovered it and I thought I figured it out. That's the thing. Well, if we're lucky, we'll all figure that out. But that's not the thing. Of course we want time and financial freedom. Once if we're wise and we achieve that and we still have time left on this earth, you will never, regardless if you're paid for what you do or not, you will never work for money again after that time. People can exchange energy with you. You can be paid for your services, but you'll never show up for the money. You'll have no need to show up for the money. So at that time, with whatever's remaining for us on earth, we'll begin to express ourselves in a way that makes us happy. So it might be surfing on the beach every day. It might be painting. It might be mentoring younger men or women. But we don't have to do it for money anymore. We're just expressing ourselves in a way that allows us to feel fulfilled because there's no longer a need to exchange for money. Okay, let's kind of get back into how do we discover it. Well, I think the first realization is, for everyone that's listening, the first realization is, yes, you want to create time and financial freedom. And if you didn't know that before today, now you know that. And if you already knew that before today and you're like, yeah, I know, Greg. When you have time and financial freedom, that's the first time you get to do this self-expression or this self-actualization. Now, you can express yourself before, but the clock's ticking where you have to go make more money. I have to re-exchange for money. Okay. So how do we discover what the passion is? Most people say, well, I don't know what my passion is. If we think back to each one of these levels of ascension, so beige, purple, red, blue, orange, green, each one of these levels, as we evolved, So our values are what's important to us, what must take place. So think like the first level, like beige. If we go all the way back in the beginning, so food, shelter, procreation, protection, nourishment, procreation. These are what mattered to us, and they were the highest priority. And they were so high, everything else fell under it. So I could eat my brother or sister or use their bones as a weapon. And like if they were injured, I could kill them because we can't stay here and wait for them to die, and we can't take him with them. And I can probably use his femur for a weapon. Today we wouldn't do that because the priorities have changed. But if we lived then, me staying alive would be the highest priority because the longer I can stay alive, the more I can procreate, the more I keep this show going. Okay, so priorities weren't there, right? I had to focus on things differently than how we focus on them today. When we say, I don't know what our passion is, you've never had that luxury yet. Mm. And like realizing that for a minute.
Yeah.
Like you've never had the luxury of having enough needs met so that you knew what your passion was. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're still back
I believe it, and I also believe that that is not named often enough. And so I think that it's really beautiful to like also kind of give that space for, you know, there is that level of safety. And, you know, again, like our nervous system needs to have that to be able to know that we can stop thinking about survival and start thinking about, oh, what do I want to do instead?
What do I want instead of what do I need to do? Yeah. Now we started this with, now we have some awarenesses, right? We started this with, oh, I'm going to show you kind of how you can discover your passion. Well, up till now, I know everyone listening is like, well, you definitely made it real clear that I don't know what my passion is. Greg, tell me how. All right. Let's talk about that a little bit. So I did this journey exercise in 2015. I didn't know what I was doing. I just did it. I'll talk about it here in a moment. And then this is how I recommend and suggest others to find their passion because I had success with it. So I know it's capable of working. Now, I always say everything's right and nothing's wrong. The way that works for you is the way it's supposed to work. So if this doesn't work, just keep searching. You'll find your way. All right. In 2015, maybe 2013, I started a cleaning company. Now, that makes it sound really grand. It's not that grand. I had I don't know if I had $500 to my name, and I mean all in total, which I was happy and proud to have that much. And I knew I wanted to fire my boss and be my own boss. And that was the rebel inside, you know, I could do this on my own. And so I was just I literally I wanted to have my own business, and I had no earthly clue what my passion was. So when I thought about how do I literally just launch a business? I don't even care. I don't know what my passion is. I thought about skills and talent, and cleaning company pretty quickly came to mind because as a child, we talked about abuse. Whenever our house was 90% of the time a hot friggin' mess, but if anyone was coming over, every single person that walked in our house when I was a child would be like, "Oh my gosh, your house is so clean." Well, I would have to clean it within a time frame before people showed up, and it had to be immaculate. And then the Marine Corps, you know, they kind of a little bit strict with cleaning rules. So I'm like, hey, I got attention to detail, and I know what clean is. Most, I know what it actually is. So this is how cleaning company comes. I'm like, I can do it. So cool. I go out and I just get flyers, and I start just going door to door, business to business, not how houses, businesses, door to door. And pretty quickly I picked up a couple accounts, some Anytime Fitnesses and things of that nature. And eventually I get a referral, and there's this lady, and this is in 2015. It might have been the end of 14 even. This lady and gentleman owned like 21 vacation rental lofts in downtown Nashville. And I get referred to them, and they hire the company on to start cleaning. Well, they would turn like up to 10 units a day, like every day. Maybe not every single day, but like there'd be multiple units per day just in this account to clean. I wanted to be my own boss, but I didn't know how to lead. And I needed more people. So I pretty much like lived at these lofts cleaning them to just keep the account afloat. And it wasn't the most luxurious thing to do. It wasn't the most, fun thing to do. So I began escaping reality by daydreaming. And I started this daydream, and this is the exercise, if you will. I started this daydream, and I just imagined that no one led me to this or said I should do it. It was really just escaping reality. I started a daydream that I had like a couple $1 billion liquid and free and clear. Now, before I go further on this exercise, I want to quantify for a lot of listeners, quantify and qualify one single billion. We hear the word billion and we're like, oh yeah, $1 billion. Okay. Just putting it in a little bit of perspective. Do you know, I don't know if you may have heard this word. Do you know how many seconds 1 million seconds would be? So if there was 1 million seconds, how much time would that cover? It's like, it's like 12 or 13 days or something like that. Okay. And then what would you take a stab at 1 billion seconds? How much time would that cover?
A month.
Okay. Perfect. So 1 million seconds, 13 days, 1 billion seconds, we might punch out to 30 days. 1 billion seconds, you can just like ask Siri, it's just shy of 32 years.
Oh, I was way off.
From 13 days.
Yeah.
Like not a month, not 6 months, not a year, 32 years. Most of us do not quantify the difference in 1 million and 1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Clearly I didn't.
So we just don't. Okay. And then, so I highlight that to say, if you think about having a couple $1 billion in your account, I'm going to suggest, I don't care how lavish and crazy you are, you're not even going to be able to spend it all. It would be insanely hard. Like if you bought 10, $50 million mansions, you'd be at a half of one single million. We're not at 10 million, or I'm sorry, you'd be at a 50 million. You'd be at you'd be at, actually, I don't know what numbers there. What did I say? 10. So 50, you'd be at 500 million. I guess if you bought there, you'd be half 1 billion. That'd be decent. A couple $1 billion, like you're not going to spend it all. So this is where I got this number from. I just wanted a number that there was no way I could contemplate running short on money. And then I just started buying things. And it started small with like a truck, and then like, a lift kit, right? And then these type of tires. But this goes on every day. When I would go do this work all day, I would just check into this daydream and live it. And so this goes on for months. Well, 12-hour days, like there's like, I don't know, I'm guessing like a couple hundred hours like invested in this daydream. And eventually it starts, it gets out of control in the sense that like eventually I own helicopters, jets, islands. Okay. All the things. I mean, but this goes on for months. And I would when I would show up, I'd just hop back into this daydream, and I would play with these toys, the razors, the little vehicle, UTVs, ATVs, weapons. I mean, I envisioned having a private farmer and own the farm in the back, and like having someone grow my organic food, a private chef that travels with me, all the things.
All day long, that would be the first.
Okay. You're like, that would have been on top of the list. And eventually I'm just doing this again, escaping reality. One day I show up to work and go into this imagination, and I'm trying to go have fun. And I'm bored of all the stuff. and like I give it a shot, a couple, like I tried it and I'm like, I have thought of everything to do on this razor. I have caught every fish on this planet like twice. I've been on all the yachts. I'm like, I don't feel like imagining a yacht. I've done all the things I want to do on a yacht. You know, I've rode in the helicopter, all the things. And I believed at this time that, you know, before I didn't, but at this time in my chapter, like I really believed, and it was a choice, but like I was going to make it. It was a choice, but like it was an internal commitment. When I say I believed, like, well, something didn't lead me to believe. It was a commitment to self. But in that moment, I thought to myself, like, oh, well, I'm going to make it. So this day's going to arrive. And like pretty quickly, I was like, well, what would I do in this day? Like, I don't even, like, I'm so bored. Like, what would I do? And I have everything. And I was literally just thinking, like, what will I actually do? Because this day will come to pass. And I mean, right there, like within minutes, hours of thinking this, processing this, like I get this thought and I was like, well, I would pay people to listen to me speak. My passion is in speaking. Okay. This is end of 2014, 2015. It literally, I was like, that would light me on fire. Like, I don't know if I could get bored of that for the rest of my life. And I realized in that moment, I said I would pay people. Like, I don't even want to try to figure out how to get them. I would pay them just to show up and listen. I knew that was my passion. Okay, for one, I felt it. But that was the thing in life that I arrived. I'm not sure if arrived. Someone can correct us out there, the English majors. All right, so this is the first place that I came to in which I was willing to give my money away to have this. Like everything else in life is we're trading our time to receive the money. At this place, I would have allowed all the money I had to diminish as long as people kept showing up to hear me speak. Discovering our passion, we've never had that luxury. We can create it in our imagination. So literally in daydreaming, we can call it visualization. We can use all kinds of fancy words, but just daydreaming. Don't try to daydream what is my passion. Imagine you have $100 billion. Like just a number that you can't spend. If you're like, I can really spend, Greg, good. Imagine you have $500 billion. Like just a number that's not going down. And then go spend it all. Like eventually you're going to arrive at boredom and then like let yourself arrive there. And then you're not going to be bored in survival mode. To arrive at boredom is to have accomplished survival. If you can get yourself in that imaginative state, you will be in the state in which you can access the luxury of discovering your passion.
Yeah. I love that. And I think a couple of things, because I believe that everything is created twice, first in the mind and then in this 3D reality. And so I think that visualization, I've never actually put a number on it. Like I've done that, or I've guided other people in that and said, if money were no object, like don't think about what it would cost if money were no object and if everyone was fully satisfied and taken care of. So like no one needed anything.
Right.
Because personally is one for me where it's like, well, but what if somebody needs it, or what, so like everyone is taken care of. You're not taking away from anyone else, but to actually like quantify a number and say like, it is more than you could fathom or could spend.
Right.
Is because at the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's the survival instinct and then getting past that point that kind of gets us further thinking and stretches what we think is possible.
And depending on our level of scarcity mindset, like if we tell someone, hey, if money was an object, that what would, depending on the level of scarcity, it depends on the individual. But if we have a scarcity mindset, the unconsciously what we're thinking is someone's going to cover the tab for me. What can I grab right now? But it's like, it's a one shot, one kill, but no one ever said that. But that's what the scarcity mind's like. Oh man, it literally starts going, a car, a house. I want to make sure people, I want a pond out back. But like, if you can imagine that the money's just going to keep sitting there and you just can't get through it. And like every day you can just keep spending more and realizing like, oh, I forgot I also want this piece of art. And oh, I forgot I want this thing. This starts getting our neurology into that abundance of like, oh, no, I can have all of it.
Yeah.
Which again, because we need, as you said, as we're talking, we need our body to get in that neurological state of boredom, that neurological state of we are okay.
Yeah.
We are safe. We are protected.
What if it's safety,
Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. I think we said in the beginning, and if not, I'm going to share also a little bit on creating alignment with financial abundance. Because if we're so first it's like, what is my passion?
Yeah.
Let's suppose everyone listening just did this and they discovered what their passion was. Oh, now we actually need some of that money to go and do it. So let's talk about that a little bit. You triggered the mind when you said, what if boredom is peace? It may be closer than we realized. Have you read The Alchemist?
I actually haven't.
Okay, worth a read. Everyone listening, check that book out, worth a read. I'm going to do a broad overview of the book so I can talk about it a little bit. The first time I read it was approximately 2014. It might have been, I'm pretty sure it's 14. The first time I read that book, I get done. So the book starts, forgive me, you're going to hear some of it. This gentleman's sitting under a sycamore tree. And he has this dream of finding his personal legend, which is just like, he has this dream that this child leads him to the pyramids, and his treasure, his personal legend is this treasure, and this treasure is at the pyramids. So long story short, he goes on this long journey halfway around the globe, which at the time, the only way to do this is via caravan. People you don't even know. It's not like only like very wealthy and elite people made it to a different continent. And this guy was a shepherd. He goes on this long journey. All kinds of things happen. He gets robbed. He gets beaten and left for dead in the desert and all these things. And in the end of the book, like I'm like in this guy's journey, and at the end of the book, I hate to ruin it, if you will, but you're going to have many takeaways when you read it. His treasure's under the sycamore tree back at home. Okay. When I finished the book the first time, I'm about 11 years earlier in my journey, I was so mad.
Aww.
I was so mad at Paul for writing that book. I was like, there was this like big roller coaster ride the entire book, and I want closure. And then I felt like the first time I read this book, I felt like that was the most hasty way to end this book. Like, you took me on this entire journey and then wrapped it up in a sentence. The treasure was there the whole time. I was so mad that what did he do? All right. As I evolve on my journey, I read that book every year, a couple times. And so I've read it many times. As I evolved on my journey, I realized everything we need is already inside of us, but we have to go the journey to realize it was always there. It's a weird conundrum, if you will. You already have everything you need inside of you, and the journey's not going to give you anything. And then it might be said, this is where I was at in my journey at the time. It was like, well, like, golly, like, then it's like, we don't even need the journey. We just need to discover what it is right now. The journey is what allows us to realize all of the gifts that are inside. If we don't go on they're all already inside. If we don't go on the journey, we won't have the experiences that allows us to lean in on these gifts or utilize or tap into these gifts. So it's all already inside of us, but we need the journey so that we can realize it was all inside of us.
So when you, in this context, are you saying that like the passions are already inside of us?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes. When you ask that question, yes. Is there a time before the passion is inside of us while we're on this earth? Maybe. But as a general belief for me, yeah, the passion's in there. We just have to be able to discover it. We've never been able to calm the nervous system enough to discover it. All right. Let's tie into creating that alignment. So Claire Graves spoke about, and we all know that person or persons at the green level or the 6th level. So if we back up one, it was orange. In that orange phase, this is where the entrepreneurial phase, where we allow cash flow to happen. And then some people, the pitfall of orange is some people get stuck there. It's insatiable. It's never enough. So I made $1 million, I need 10 million. I made 10 million, I need 100 million. It's just insatiable. It's never enough. So that's the pitfall of 5. Now, if someone makes it through 5, eventually they get to a place where they realize they've made enough and it's not actually about the money. Okay, and this is where they go to 6. This is where self-actualization starts happening. It's like, oh, it's not just about collecting things. How am I going to express myself on this earth? Okay. Those people will tell everyone it's not actually about the money. And so we see that and we want that. So we say, I'm not doing it for the money. It's not about the money. No, I don't care about the money. Okay. Before we go through our 5, call 5 the journey. Before we go through our phase of orange or 5 and generate the money, we're at a place where we don't have the money yet. We have whatever amount. We're somewhere in between hand and mouth and having a little extra. Okay. We see 5, that's a struggle, right? Because we have to evolve. We have to ascend the way we think to be able to allow this cash to flow. We see 5, that's a struggle. And then we see people go past 5 and they say it was never about the money. And then we're like, oh, perfect. I'll just scoot right on past. I agree. It's not about the money. 6s are able to do self-actualization because they have the money. It's not about the money. It's about the self-actualization. The money allows what it's about to happen. So we have to go on the journey of making the money to discover it was never about the money. How are we going to create alignment with financial abundance? If you don't have your nervous system regulated from survival, realize it's a little bit about the money. Realize that you want to make money. Realize that you are trading your time for money. Realize that you are doing it for money. Okay, some people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. No, that's bad. Okay, if it ends there, then it becomes greed. If it ends there. But you're doing it for the money. Why are you doing it for the money? So I can self-actualize. You're actually doing it so you can self-actualize. Earlier, I said most people, if we ask them what they're, we think we discovered it, time and financial freedom. Yes, you want that. Why do you want that? Now, you're not aware because your nervous system has never been regulated enough for you to discover, but you want time and financial freedom so you can begin to freely express yourself on this earth. So then realize it is about the money. Like, I do want money. I like money. I am doing this so I can have enough money. Because if we're like, no, it's not I'm not doing it for the money. Okay, but what are you saying to yourself? And how do you plan on getting to regulation, emotional and neurological regulation at a level in which your needs are met with enough buffer for you to begin that self-actualization.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there?
Well, and I think that it's I love the context of it being for self-actualization, but also for impact. Like, I want money because I want to. I love the fact that like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, that they generate so much in the economy by going on tour or by, and it's not just for their sake, but what they are then bringing to the cities and the stylists and all of these people. And to me, that's not greed. That is, they're creating that ripple effect.
Yeah.
And I want that. I want to be able to then go to someone else and to be able to give in that way and share.
Yeah.
Because I think more money in the hands of conscious people who are doing it for a why. Why do you want it? And I can kind of get hung up in that question sometimes where people are like, oh, well, why would you want to stop at this level? Well, why do you want to go above it? What is your why? What is your reason for doing it?
100%.
And I don't know if that's also a privilege. If it's a privilege to say, well, like, why am I doing it? Because if you're not in that phase of, getting out of survival, then where's the mindset,
Right. Yeah. And I mean, ultimately it's in making sure that I have whatever I needs met.
Yeah.
How do I have to behave so that like rent is paid next month?
Yeah.
How do I have to behave so that I can get love?
And I think that it also though it's personal responsibility to take care of ourselves. And then we're in overflow.
Yeah.
But it is our responsibility to care for our needs first so that we can share.
Yeah.
100%.
And again being open and up. Now, a lot of people, when they heard me talking about money, I mean, plenty of people, the fives of the world, the threes and the fives, the red and the orange, they were like, yeah, it's about the money. Say it, But a lot of people were feeling uncomfortable when I was saying that. The people listening in, I want you to have autonomy, and you may consider honing in on why is the topic of you freely and boldly claiming money so uncomfortable? Like it makes you feel some kind of way internally. Like there's a journey to go on there.
Yeah.
And the idea is like, I don't want to be greedy. We when we're at 4, we say the 5s are greedy. And then when we're at 6, we say the 5s are greedy. So if we allow ourselves in that, we think we are to be greedy. You might be.
Yeah.
I'll hop in there and see. No, I won't be greedy. Good. I believe you. Go hop in there and get yours. There's one way to find out.
Yeah.
But we have to open ourselves up to that idea. And what I'm going to suggest to everyone is, the way that I create financial freedom for myself is realizing I don't know what the number is for me. As you said, like people say, like, make it bigger. Well, like I've thought, I don't know yet, but like, I don't think that I desire to play in the $1 billion range, but like I will definitely play in the 10-figure range, or an 8-9-figure range for sure. Not 10, 8, 9. But I don't know. And maybe I would. I don't know what that figure looks like for me, but I'm wide open to growing my financial status so that I can, and allowing ourselves open to the idea that can you self-actualize without money? Well, how about this? If for anyone that would be on the other side saying, well, you don't have to do it with money. I believe you. Go show the world. I believe you. Go start your podcast and tell them how to do it without money. Or become congruent and let yourself get some money. Yeah. All right. I think that's a good place for us to wrap up today. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to share with them, Catherine?
I do, but I don't know how quick it's going to be.
Oh no, let's do it, please.
Well, I was thinking about the book that I'm reading right now. It's called The Happiness Experiment. And it is by Carl Barney, and it actually comes out in July, but it's an advanced reader copy. But he talks about this idea of obviously the happiness experiment, like what's going to make you happy. And he is someone who made a lot of money and in the billions. And instead of leaving people bequests after he died, he decided to make prequests to people. And so basically giving them money or an inheritance before he's dead, so he gets to experience their happiness. And it's interesting because he takes you on this journey of what it is like to, where people, some of them blocked they had serious resistance on accepting money at that point. And I think that some of that is like maybe these levels of where we are and what we're comfortable with receiving, because we have to be comfortable. Abundance is around us at all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what we're open to receiving. But what I really liked about it is that he didn't just give them the money. He gave them the amount, and then he also gave them a coach and a financial planner. And he said, I want you to spend this money within 3 to 5 years. And I don't want you to just spend it on things like, this is not money for you to like pay off your mortgage and do these things. This is for you to have fun and create happiness. And in my opinion, it is more about the planning process and them getting into like, what are my values? What are the things that really matter to me? Because at the end of the day, I think that the recipe for happiness is what we want to feel and creating that. But then that piece of the money to create that and do that is we have to be open to receiving that in order to do it. But that sitting down and visualizing it or creating a plan that says this is what I would want to do with the money, kind of like your why, feels like it's one of the keys to unlocking that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and you talk about writing down, I mean, obviously journaling, but again, going back to, and you even said visualizing, but going back to that place of like, visualize having all that money and visualize spending that money and then figure out.
I would also say, like, especially if it feels uncomfortable, talk to somebody about it too. And like, talk to somebody who you know is going to be expansive, who you know is going to be open to doing that, but raise the bar, raise your standards, and have those conversations, because then it's like, I believe that this is possible. And why do I want to do it? And if it feels uncomfortable, then you get to really notice that, because it's one thing to say it and to visualize it in our heads, but to have a safe friend where you can be like, this is what I want to do.
But well, and let me offer, like, when you're doing the exercise of like spending the money, I'm going to suggest to you, but only based on, remember, when I did this exercise, I didn't know what I was doing. I just did it. But I'm going to suggest you don't have to believe that you're actually spending this money or that you're going to have all these things. Like, I don't want an island or a helicopter. But in that visualization, there was an island and a helicopter. Like in that exercise, like, you don't have to believe that you are receiving in a helicopter. You can, right? You can. But what I'm getting at is, like, I just want you to I want your neurology to get to a place where it is literally sick and tired of spending money. And then what would you do? Right now, we have no unless you've done something like this, or if you were handed money, we have no comprehension of what it is to be sick and tired of spending money.
I love that, because even as you said that, I was like, I cap it. Like, that's like a limit of being like, oh, well, because I wouldn't, actually an island, I don't know, that might be kind of fun. But a helicopter, I'm like, yeah, but I was capping it at like, kind of like, what's reasonable.
Yeah. There you go. Be unreasonable.
Be unreasonable.
Like, you might find you actually want all those things. I found I did not want all those things.
Yeah.
Like, now what I found, like, that was 11 years ago. Now when I talk about what it looks like is 150 acres, water, 2 separate entry points, a retreat center. Like, this is what it looks like. This is what it boiled down to. But I had to realize that I don't want a helicopter.
Yeah.
Because until I realized that, like, if someone would have said it and it seemed cool, I may have thought I wanted it.
Yeah.
But like, now I know I don't want a helicopter. I'll rent that if I need that.
Your size. I like it.
Literally. And all the other parts. One last thing. I'm going to leave us with one last little truth bomb nobody's going to enjoy me for. But listen, I'm going to suggest to you guys, to the level at which you block yourself receiving money, is the level at which you judge people that have money. Look, I'm not blaming you. It's not your fault. You were probably programmed that way as a kid. Think about how you think about people with money. Do you think about them as a positive impact on the world, or do you see them as slimy, sleazy, greedy, manipulative? Because if you do, your neurology doesn't want you to become those things.
How we judge others is how we judge ourselves.
All right, I'll see you guys next week. We're going to bring some more. Next week, we're going to dive into the topic of manifestation.
Ooh.
That's going to be a good one. I'll see you guys next week.
If this hit you deep, trust that.
Your pain has power, and your story isn't over.
Follow, share, and send this to someone who you think might benefit.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Catherine.
And this was The Power in the Pain. Keep stepping into your power.